There's a great capacity in this anthology to push the fantastical and the bombastic and the quite big visual statements. I think that the thing that we liked about Hand was that it was quite stripped back. It stands out amongst the others because it's quite minimal.
Love, Death and Robots is a groundbreaking animated anthology for Netflix created by Tim Miller and David Fincher. Helping Hand is a survival story set in space. It's about an ordinary person and what lengths they might go to survive.
We knew from the get-go that this was going to be a global effort. The whole goal of the series was to bring this wealth of great short stories and marry them with some of the great work that's being done around the world in animation.
All the top-level studios, the ones that have very outspoken styles, they were involved with it, and it's really cool to see how different studios approach different stories.
They're a chance to do something that's more adult that you don't see normally in animation. That's the main reason that we wanted to do this series, is to really do something fresh.
Every now and then, Blur would share the work in progress of other studios working on the anthology. The very first one they showed was Lucky 13, and we saw it and we're like, right, that's the bar set.
Netflix was the perfect partner for this. They were very supportive of us pushing the limits. So I felt like the creative community was going to be very excited about this opportunity.
Jon's style for the film was a restrained confidence.
He wanted to strip it back as far as he could to make sure that this was about just the human emotion.
I think what we wanted to do with the design, the approach, was to go back to truckers in space tropes that you see in like 70s sci-fi, effectively. All of that suggested a more downbeat, utilitarian approach to the design.
The most important thing for Jon was to reach the audience, to have this claustrophobic feeling, and he was trying to reach something deep.
The exterior of the Anthem itself, the ship itself, is incredible, but the interior of it is even more incredible. The attention to detail in there is just staggering.
Like, we're putting fridge magnets and post-it notes and little trinkets here and there, and every time we did a pass to that, they're like, yeah, that's great, but more. You know, this is her cabin. It has to feel like it's lived in.
I guess there's 20 or 50 notes in there, and no one's ever gonna see those, you know? Like, I know that they're there, and I wrote them myself. It's really fun to know that it's there, and that it's kind of just background noise. The camera kind of follows her through what she goes through, and I mean, there's a lot of POV shots as well, which I think kind of hit home that point. You know, you're with her in outer space. Just being very, very dialed back and very minimal in camera approaches and movement, it really helps you feel for the character, yeah.
One of the big driving forces in going photoreal came from Tim Miller. I think if it had been more stylized, you wouldn't have had quite the engagement with the character. It puts you in her shoes.
As soon as we read the script, we knew that the main driver for this film was going to be the facial performance. Everyone seems to really connect with the lead character, Alex. The performance from the actor was outstanding. She and the director, Jon, worked really, really well together.
It's a film about survival, the unbreakable human spirit. If you didn't have a face that you can identify with, then none of those themes would come across to an audience.
It's a real challenge to do something with an actual person in a CG pipeline and making her feel real and tangible the whole way through.
I think this is why the facial performance became such a key thing, because half of it is just her expression, and you really feel for her.
We worked with a company called DI4D, and the process that DI4D has developed is a 3D capture of the entire performance. So you know exactly the shape of her face for every second of the performance captured.
It was a multi-cam head setup along with a body performance setup. The detail it captured was amazing. We had every little sort of nuance and eye move and blink in there.
We developed a new technique with them that we've never used, where the footage that they capture is applied back in such a way that we can then animate on top of it.
The actress was her skin was so smooth, there was no imperfections, it was too good, and it instantly made it feel more CG. You know, when you look at it and it's just this perfectly smooth face, it didn't work.
We put a lot of layers of hand sculpt details because our Alex, she's supposed to be a tough girl with, you know, a lot of freckles, a lot of spots, a lot of imperfections. They're drawn by hand.
Eventually we ended up with two character sculpts. There's one when she starts out in the film, and then there's one towards the very end when she went through the whole ordeal.
Her face looked dead. We had a shader that would redden the eyes. Another option that we could add more of the meniscus to make the eyes look more wet. It was just that all these little things that add up to making her look, like if you compare her in the opening shot to the last shot, it's like we really messed with her through this. I'm immensely proud of this project. I think it's definitely the highlight of my career. The passion from the team was amazing. To me, it couldn't have gone better. It was great.